I have my Tholin Foulbeard, but mistakes have been made. I had a little misstep earlier this week. I just was distracted by other things, and I didn't complete the Spiders tournament that included the demon points for the 5-star Tholin Foulbeard Soul. Now, I'm not out of the running yet, but that means I need to go for the full complement of points in the summon rush that is currently going on, and it is, in fact, ending today. But there's good news for me, I guess, of a kind, because during this Progressive Chance event, one of the Progressive Champions is Kaimar, and you know this is one of the very few non-void legendaries or mythical champions I need to really make a difference on my account. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be pulling some shards, and we're going to be hoping for a big win. I am Colred. This is Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends. Let's get started. I want to start by taking a quick look at the Plarium Play calendar here. This is one of the very few places where players can get a preview of events and tournaments that are coming more than 24 hours in advance, right? There isn't really another calendar. There's no in-game calendar, so you have to come here. But I want to show you what happened. I also want to show you something that I noticed about the Plarium Play calendar that I don't like. It's a little bit of a change. But yeah, let's start with what happened to me, because I think that this could potentially benefit other people who might be in a similar situation either now or in the future. Remember that if you set a plan for these Titan events or 2-week events, and it's not uncommon to, first of all, unlike a fusion event, you don't have all of the information. You only have a week's worth of information as opposed to the full 2-week calendar at the outset. So it's not uncommon for your plan to go awry a little bit. It happens more frequently for me, at least in Titan events, whereas with fusion events, I feel like I really got those down on lock. No problem. I make mistakes every once in a while, but usually it's because life gets in the way. It's not because I make a mistake. Whereas with Titan events, every once in a while, I misjudge something or I forget something because it's harder to track. So that being said, let's take a look at the calendar here. And as you can see, there was a Spider tournament that just ended yesterday. Now, this Spider tournament, we never know how many points these tournaments are going to be. This Spider tournament was actually 50 points, which is a little bit weird because I think the Ice Golem tournament that was right here was only 30 or 40 points. Like, they're not all the same number of points, which is frustrating. And they change from event to event, which is frustrating. So you never know. I've seen tournaments for as few as, I think, 30 points and maybe as many as like 70 points, maybe even 80 points. So anyway, like I said, life got in the way here, and I was distracted. It was really not that life got in the way. I was distracted, and I didn't realize the tournament was ending when it was ending, and so I didn't get around to actually completing it, and I missed out on those 50 points. Now, as we know, you can miss 250 points and still get the 5-star soul. So now I have a 200-point window, and that still seems decent. Seems like I have some leeway there, of course, but you still want to plan that out, because certain events, like, you know, this one was 50 points, but certain events are a lot more points. So, for instance, when we're talking about the Summon Rush event that is currently going on, there's a batch of 30 points, a second batch of 50 points, and then a third batch of 120 points. Now, I don't need all 200 points. I could skip the 120 points, right? But that means with the 50 points that I missed from the Spider tournament, that'd be 170 points, leaving me only 80 more points to miss. Now, there is a big event that is starting tomorrow, which will be this demonic deck of fate. And this is the other thing that I noticed here. Notice what it says here. Earn fate scrolls through in-game activities and use them to flip cards in the demonic deck of fate. They don't tell you which in-game activities. Now, we are within the 24-hour window, so you can actually go in-game and look at what's going to give you points. And I think it's soul stones and artifacts, I think. But we'll take a look at that in a second. But I don't like the fact that they don't put the in-game activities. They don't list the specific activities here, because that would be helpful to know what resources you're going to need to use. So my concern with the demonic deck of fate is that often these deck of fates are very large. No, they award very large numbers of points, right? So we've got perhaps as many as 200 points here. It could be 150, could be 250, but it's probably somewhere around 200 points. And again, we're not going to know until the event pops tomorrow. So if I skip that batch of 120 points from the current Summon Rush, that leaves me only an 80-point window. If this is a 200-point event, that means I have to go for 120 points, and I may not have all of the soul stones, or I may not want to burn all of those soul stones in order to go for all of those points. And in fact, I think I would prefer to skip some of this event rather than the Summon Rush, because it just feels like a better return on my investment in the Summon Rush. And I'll go through that a little bit once we get back into the game. But looking forward, we also have a lot more events, including a champion chase tournament, which is also one of those that tends to be fairly large in terms of point totals. So if I skip these 120 points, I could be in trouble because I could put myself in a situation where I need to complete the Deck of Fate and complete the champion chase tournament. And I could have saved myself a lot of headache by just spending 2 or 3 more sacred shards for the Summon Rush today and getting those 120 points. So this is, the thing that you have to kind of look at looking forward with these Titan events. You have to plan a little more carefully, spend a little bit more time with the calendar, do a little bit more math. Maybe even what I should do is get a pad and track all of my points and what points remain. I've been really busy this week and I haven't done that. And as a result, I find myself in a little bit of a hole. I still think I'm in a good position to get the 5-star soul. Now, I will say in past Titan events, I have once or twice had to drop down to the middle soul, from the 5-star soul down to the 3-star soul or whatever it happens to be. And if that happens, that's okay. I can't beat myself up too much about that. You shouldn't beat yourself up too much about that either, because these games take a lot of time. And sometimes you don't have that time. You don't have that focus. Maybe even ahead of time, you just say to yourself, you know what, I'm not going to get that 5-star soul. I'm just going to go for the 3-star soul. And I'm going to be happy with that. Or even the 1-star soul. Just get the 1-star soul and a couple of extra, resources. And that's great. But like I said, I think I'm still in the running for the 5-star soul. I just have to be careful about how I plan the rest of my Titan event. And it starts today with going and doing the entire Summon Rush. As you can see, we have 10 hours left here on Sunday. And like I showed you before, we got a batch of 30 points, and then another second batch of 50 points, and then a third batch of 120 points. Now, these full 200 demon points take 3,500 Summon Rush points, which works out to 7 sacred shards. Now, you don't have to use sacred shards. You could use other shards if you wanted to. And I may think about that. Because I believe a 10 pull of ancient shards is 200 points. So I could always do like maybe 1 or 2 10 pulls of ancient shards and do the rest with mystery shards if I wanted, but probably not. And the reason why is because I just think sacred shards are the best return on investment here. Plus we have this progressive chance for me to get a Kymar. So I'm definitely going for the Kymar. If I hit the Kymar, then maybe I'll think about saving my sacred shards. But as you can see, I do have a decent pool of 24. I've done a pretty good job of replenishing my sacred shards during this event. So that's where we stand. For next week's champion chase, we're going to have a 2x event, I think. So let's see. It should probably be voids. Next week. And I have 2 remnant summons. I think I have plenty to get the champion chase done, depending on what the point totals are for those demon points. So I think the big skip for me is going to be the Deck of Fate. Now, if we look here, it says the Deck of Fate here, it's called the Demonic Deck of Fate, and it says complete objectives, get Fate scrolls and flip cards for rewards. Doesn't say there. Somewhere along the line, I saw something about, must have been in the news. I think it was in the news. Let's go here and look. Demonic Deck of Fate. Here we go. Soul stones, artifacts, and accessories. So that's where the points are coming from. And, my soul stone count is okay, but this isn't going to be a 2x soul stone event, so I'd rather not pull soul stones if I don't have to. I could certainly pull some of the mortal soul stones, but I would hold on to the immortal soul stones probably. I don't really want to pull any soul stones. I would prefer to wait for a 2x event. So this is why I'd like to skip most of the Deck of Fate, unless it just feels like the rewards are really, really good. We'll have to see. But chances are I'm going to skip the Deck of Fate. And that means I'm doing the Summon Rush, doing the Champion Chase. And there you have it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in here on my progressive chance, lock in the Kymar. By the way, this guy is really cool if you don't need your Kymar. I forget his name. He's the new event champion from the Sylvan Watchers. Very cool kit. But unfortunately, I need to go for, or not unfortunately, but whatever. I got to go for Kymar this time. I wouldn't mind going for Bad Alcazar either. Love that Bad L on this account. Okay, so 3,500 points means 7 Sacred Shards. I don't know how deep we are into the Sacred Shards. I don't think it's too many, but I think it's more than 1. So we're probably somewhere like 2 or 3 Sacred Shards in, I think, towards our Mercy. So, you know, if we pull 7 and we don't hit, then maybe we'll save for a 1+1 or something like that. All right, let's go. Let's see some gold. Let's see some gold right away. Kymar, right off the bat. Come on. Ooh, Deacon Armstrong. All right, he is not +4. So that'll be a empowerment on the Deacon Armstrong. You know I love to see me a Deacon. Oh, I didn't make any space. Okay, I made a little space. We don't need a lot of space. We're just pulling 6 more shards. 6? Yeah, 6. Okay. Here we go. How about gold? How about now? There we go. Come on, Kymar. Kymar. This is the champion I have, the legendary champion I have the most copies of in the game. No, I'm not going to lie. I have so many LNRLs, it's ridiculous. Let's see. I have 5 copies of her now. I guess I could +4 her if I wanted to. I could +4 LNRL. I don't have, I mean, it's ridiculous that as a free-to-play player, I would get a +4 legendary champion at this point. I mean, I have so many legendaries I still have yet to pull. So I don't even know what to think about that. I mean, gold is good, but that didn't feel great. It didn't feel great. It does boost my chance of Kymar to a ×20. So if we hit again, that'd be nice. But obviously, it resets our Mercy counter, so we're back to square one with that. Let's go ahead and pull. Let's hit gold again. Just assuage my pain. Signy of High Shield. Okay, she's fine. Hellgazer, not what I need. I think what did we say? I know I have to pull 7, but I forget what that takes me down to. I think it takes me down to 17. Oh, here we did. Ah. It's my 3rd copy of Skull Lord. I know he's decent to build. I just don't have books for him. I mean, when is double gold such a disappointment? I feel so, I don't feel great about this. But let's see how we're doing. I don't even know how many. Okay, I need 2,500. So we need 2 more. We need to pull 2 more. We're up to a 25 times chance for Kymar. If it were ever going to happen, save my shard pull event, Plarium. You know you want to because you love free-to-play players so much. Come on. Siege Hulk, he is massive. He's such a big boy. Okay, last one. Last one, eyes closed. I'm going to peek a little bit. I'm probably going to peek, yep. Nope, that's it. Pitiless one. Now, let's just say a quick note about these progressives. Obviously, this is where Plarium is enticing you to overspend your resources to go big and keep buying shards, keep buying shards, keep buying shards. And, you know, free-to-play discipline says stop right here, unless you can find a reason, if there's a reason to keep going, you know, if you have really good value, really good. I don't mean any reason. I mean a really good return on investment. And if I'm looking at the Summon Rush prize track or reward track, it would take 3 more Sacred Shards to get 50 Twisted Horns. Now, Twisted Horns are a rare commodity, but I don't think they're worth 3 Sacred Shards. If the 3 Sacred Shards got me like the Legendary Skill Tome and the 5-star chicken and the Twisted Horns, then I would probably go in for it. But since it doesn't, I'm just going to take, the rewards that I have here, which are pretty good. I think the reward track here, is pretty good for the 7 sacred shards. Because outside of the demon points, I did get a legendary skill tome, an immortal soul stone, some twisted horns, a decent amount of energy and gems. So I'm just going to have to be happy with my with my triplicate and my quintuplicate. I don't even know if that's a word, but yeah, my 5th Elenarl of all time. Let me know in the comments below that your day was better than mine. And I know there are going to be some of you who completely missed and didn't get any legendaries whatsoever and may feel like your day was worse than mine. That's fair, I guess. That's fair. But you know my pain. You know my pain. You've pulled duplicates before. Okay, that is it for this one. Thanks so much for hanging out. I've been Colred. I'll see you in another video soon.